What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, this is TWA Motorsports, and today we're gonna do a few things to the dually. Well, okay, I can't really call it a dually yet, but I can call it the 3/4 ton. Let's call it that. Okay, so here's what I want to get accomplished in this video, guys. I really need to clean this thing up. It needs a good scrub down, but before I do that, and I'll probably do that off camera, I'm just gonna wash it, hand wash it. But I want to get some stuff off. So first of all, I got a bunch of leaves up here that I want to get out. It's been sitting outside. I want to get the old inspection sticker off, but that stuff I'm not going to show you guys. What I am going to do though is I'm going to be taking off the 2500 badges. We can't have 2500 badges driving around with dual wheels, you know. So we got to get those off. I'm going to try to take the door trim off. I'm going to try to get those ugly Weston steps off. I am going to get the residual glue off on the door here from the old, I guess, vent visors. What else do we need to accomplish? Oh, I want to get the 4x4 stickers off the back. I want to get the bumpers out of the tailgate, or out of the bed. I want to get all new lights and bulbs, and then I want to get kind of the wiring harness plugged in, right? So the wiring harness that goes to factory lights, and I may even have a set of lights coming. We'll just have to see on that. But yeah, we need to go around the truck and get some stuff torn off, cleaned up. And you guys have seen me use, I kind of have a method here. I like to use, holy cow, look at that spot. I have to do some touch up on that. Yeah, I like to use 3M adhesive remover. I like to use an eraser wheel. I like to use a heat gun. I like to use fishing line. That is the plan. And so let's go get that stuff out. I think I may start back here on the bed with the 4x4 emblems or stickers, and we'll just go from there. So for the back here, where we're gonna start, heat gun, plastic razor blade. Because these are stickers and they actually are in pretty decent shape, we're just gonna kind of heat this up and kind of start peeling back a ledge. And I think, like I said, they're in good enough shape that I'm hoping that if we get them started, they won't like come off in little giblets. Now, could I use my eraser wheel here? Absolutely, but that will make a mess of things. And so I don't want to do that. A lot of times if you get them started, yeah. Sometimes that's the way it goes. They peel off all wild. Okay. No. I hate when these little corner pieces don't come off. Nothing to really grab to when that happens. Now you're still going to have to use a little adhesive remover to get the ledges. I don't know if you guys noticed, but quite a bit left on the ledge. Man, that's hot. This thing is not four-wheel drive, so we don't want it to be advertising that it's four-wheel drive. It would probably be easier if I wasn't using gloves. There we go. Oh, that's not going well. I think we're probably done with the heat. If you guys have a sunny day, oh man, this one's wanting to tear off in little pieces. That's never fun. There, we got it started. But if you have a sunny day, that's really the best time to do one of these. Then you don't have to necessarily have the heat gun. And you can be pretty aggressive with this plastic razor blade. I know it probably looks like I'm really gouging on it, but don't use a regular razor blade. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go grab my adhesive remover while I get here, and we'll get this all cleaned up. I'll knock this off camera. Got it off there. Took me a little bit more heat, it cooled off. So now we got that off, we're gonna grab some of this 3M adhesive remover. I know some people say they use gasoline. I mean, I guess you can use gasoline, not my preference, but quite a bit of rail dust on this thing, I noticed. So you're never gonna get this like where you can't see this in a certain light. This has a ton of what I would consider rail dust on it. And when I say rail dust, guys, it's almost like a rust, a surface rust that stays on the truck. So what I'll do is, I don't know that I'll do it right now. I might run over it with a little bit of clay bar to try to clean that area up, but the whole bed needs it. I don't know. I'll do this area right here real quick. Just to clean up this area that I did, we'll hit it with a little clay bar. I got some old clay out here I keep in the shop for stuff like this. Like, I would never use this on another car, but on older stuff that's got some scratches and nicks in it, it's perfect. See that? You can see how dirty that looks. That's that rail dust coming off, and it wouldn't take much. For some reason, like these type of beds, they clay bar really, really easy. I don't know if it's how the paint sticks to them or what, but now you'll never be able to get that completely out unless you buff it, which we will at some point. I don't know how crazy we'll go just based off the fact this thing's not perfect, but we can definitely make it look a lot better. So you can see the outline when I spray it. I'm sure clay bar and the whole thing would be beneficial. Way better. All right, let's move on. I'm gonna do the other side. Guys, I'm just gonna show you one side, then we'll do the other side off camera. Let's move up to the door. Now for the door on these, you guys have seen me do this a couple times, but I've got my eraser wheel, which we don't need yet. What we need is the heat and some fishing line. And we're gonna start here with the easiest one first. Let me get some heat in this thing. You don't want to heat it too long because you'll blister the paint. If you get it too hot, what we're trying to do is just soften up that glue on the back. That should give us a little bit of heat, and then we're just going to kind of rope saw this off. No, let's continue. Got a phone call. Probably didn't get it quite warm enough. Yeah, that's how you know, is when you start breaking your line. I've got some pretty strong. I try to buy some pretty strong line, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes you can get lucky and oh, it's gonna break. There we go. Well, this piece may not be big enough. Kind of a delicate balance, because if you get it too hot, then the glue melts your fishing line, and if you don't get it hot enough, then your fishing line breaks. So kind of trying to figure out the balance between the two. All right, now that we got that, let's use our eraser wheel. Pretty quick work of it, doesn't it? All right. Now, I'm pretty picky, so I'm gonna sweep this up here. But before I do, let's get some adhesive remover, knock this high stuff off. These big chunks that it throws off, you may have to double back on. That looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit that with this. Sometimes it kind of melts it and it stays in place. There's a little chip right there on the corner. All right, let's hit this. I'm gonna sweep this crap up out of the floor because I hate rolling through it with my chair. We'll hit that, let's hit that with the clay bar after I get this swept up. Let's see if we can get some of this junk off here. Now, similar situation, we're just gonna make a spot on the door that looks really nice, whereas the rest of it looks kind of crappy, but I'd like to make this like really small baby steps that everybody can follow and maybe do their own. I don't know. man, this truck's paint is in, I mean, other than the little rock chips and stuff, it's in pretty good shape, guys. Other than there's a spot on the door over there that's not, the clear's jacked, but what a difference. And like I said, I wanted to get this off before I wash this thing. All right, let's move on to heating this big long strip up. I was gonna say, sometimes you can get these started by hand. Just be careful. Don't do this when it's cold or you will rip the paint. Look at the water that's staying behind that. Holy cow. All right, I'm gonna clean this up with some probably like Windex or something, because here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to be rubbing that in with the eraser wheel. So let me get some like Windex or something that's gonna kind of lift some of the dirt out of the way. See what I'm talking about? Let's get these big chunks of dirt off. I'm using, might as well scratch up the rest of it, right? And we are scratching, believe me. But gotta break some eggs to make a cake, guys. We can fix these, what I call marring, with the with like a paint correction down the road. Golly, this truck's, it's in incredibly good shape, honestly, guys. Like I said, for what it is. I mean, this is used as a work truck, you know. Go back over it again with the microfiber, and we'll get our eraser wheel up here. Got a little ding in the door, a little crease up front here. All right, now let's get our eraser wheel and go to town. same situation here. Now that we got that all knocked down, we'll get some adhesive remover, go over these areas, and then follow that up with the clay bar. The clay bar, there's another little ding right there. I think my PDR guy could probably pop a couple of these dings out. We may have him do that. That'd be a really big dent if it didn't have that trim on it. There's some tar on there. See if we can get some of the staining off. You know, clay bar will take some tar off too if it's not crazy thick. That's doing pretty good. All right, let me knock the rest of this off camera. We'll take a look at it, but then we're gonna go to the top of the door where that vent visor used to be. Assuming fell off or broke, or maybe somebody got sick of it and tried to take it off. We're gonna focus on that next. We got quite a bit of it out. It's not completely gone, but guys, like I said, you're gonna have to paint correct it. What I did notice is I got a lot of the junk off on the bottom of the door here, but these that you see here, those are rock chips and a scratch right there. But you know, that's part of buying a used truck. No rust, but yeah, we'll get that. We'll probably do some Dr. Color chip down the road, but let's move our attention up to the LT badge and then the, like I said, over the door. For this little badge here on the cab, and generally go back to my plastic razor blade, and just mainly because they're not thick enough. They're like a gel, and so they're not quite thick enough to get fishing line back behind. Look at that. A lot of times too, guys, these don't clean up quite as well. Like they're getting rid of the outline around it. I don't know what there is about it. I don't know if the glue sinks in, but let's, I'll clean that up and then we'll use our eraser wheel real quick. See what happens. That came off pretty good, but I think, guys, we're gonna have issues. I don't think our clay bar will do quite as good up here. Like I said, I don't know what their deal is about it. I think it kind of etches into the clear over time. I've just never had these look the greatest when I pull them off. Let's give it a shot though. No, that's doing better than I thought. This paint, I told you on the door a minute ago, is in decent shape. It just seems like it's just gliding across this stuff. I think that's going to come out. It's going to take a little bit, but it's coming out. That's exciting. So if you don't want to do what I'm doing, and when I say what I'm doing, like the clay bar situation, what you could opt to do is grab some polishing compound or some M105 or something and just hit this, and it would take it off relatively quickly. We're gone. To get this stuff off the top of the door, I like to soften it up first with a little 3M adhesive remover. So what I do is, you know, just rub it down and then we'll let it set for just a couple minutes. And then we're gonna come back with the eraser wheel. And guys, up here, because, you know, this is beat on by the sun, it's kind of a 50-50 shot whether you're gonna break through the clear or not. I'm bumping into my camera here. So just be careful. Don't spend a lot of time in one area. Let's give it a shot and see what happens if we can get some of it off. Looks like it's coming off. Here's what you don't want to do. Do not touch your rubber around the window because this will eat it up. Looks like it did pretty good. Let's see if it wipes off here. Ah, perfect. Yep, once we clay bar that, I think it'll look pretty good. Probably should have started up there. Well, it came out pretty good without buffing on it. Got all the junk off. So we have this side of the truck completely finished. We've got the side, all the trim off. We got the badge off, the cab, got that old junk off there, and the four-wheel drive badge off. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna knock out the other side, and then I guess we will try to move to these. Now, I tried to take these off in the last video, but they're the ones that mount around the body mount, and so I just didn't feel like doing it in that video. So we're gonna do that in this video, though, get those out and get those nasty things off there. I think that'll be our next step. We now have both sides complete, right? So we got the badges and the stuff off. I've clay barred a little bit. Got all that residue off up top, of course the stickers, and yeah, we got this other side done, guys. I noticed this door had been painted, like I showed you earlier. I think we may end up replacing this door. I don't know what's in it. If I can find a good white door, should be relatively easy to do. I may just swap this thing out. It's actually dragging on the bottom anyway. But now that we got that accomplished, we're gonna move on to getting these ugly Nerf bars, I think they call them, off the side steps, whatever you want to call them. Remember, I said I was going to do that in the video where I took the bed off, but they're the ones that mount around the body mount. So you can see here, there's a bolt. This is all one piece. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm actually gonna use, I think it's a 21 millimeter that fits this guy. And I'm not gonna do this with my impact because I wanna make sure that, you know, they're not stripping, we don't have any issues. Now, once we get it out, you have to put this back in. This is what holds the body to the actual frame. So I don't love this style. It's probably pretty strong, but let's see if we can get both the front and the back out. Like I said, I'm not using an impact. I'm just gonna do this by hand and see what happens. Now you can see, once I get it off, what we have here, guys. This was actually on top, which you need. A bunch of junk in it, which is fine. But this is gonna sandwich back around there, and it's got a little washer in the bottom, like a plate. Now, these need to go back in. Got the bolt here. Tell you what, let's just get it started. And this is just a factory bolt. Shouldn't have replaced these when they put this in. So what we're gonna do is just thread this guy back up into place. And this needs to be torqued to 63 foot-pounds, okay? That's not very much. No doubt it had more than that on it. So hopefully we don't have any issues torquing it back down. We may end up having to replace the body mounts at some point. I mean, they look pretty good. They're not like all beat up, but if it squeaks or moves around, that may be something we have to do in the future. Okay, I got these rusty turds off here. So this does a couple things. First of all, it gets rid of this ugly step, which I don't like, and it will give us the ability to clean this like we're supposed to help maybe prevent rust down the road. Look, there's gonna be rock chips and whatnot down here, but with that in place, it's really close and you can't get a good cleaning on the fender or the rocker here, and you guys know how common these are to rust. So got those both off. I gotta torque these, like I said, to 63 foot-pounds. I'm gonna go knock the other side out, and then I think we'll move on. All right, so here's the next thing we wanna do. We've got light connectors, right? So that go from the front to the back. And I'd like to get these hooked up, even though down the road we're gonna be taking the bed off to fix it or whatever. I wanna get these in. So I've got the complete harness. This is the left one. You can tell by the gray pin or the gray box on the end. That's gonna go in the top. The black one is the right. That goes in the bottom of the junction box under there. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But guys, here's what we got. I did get a new set of taillights because, well, these don't fit right. And well, I didn't like them. So we went with a factory set of replacements, which I'll list in the description down below. Will they work? I don't know. We're gonna give it a shot though. Look, they have the little grid thing on them, which kind of extends the amount of area they cover. They look really nice. This is obviously the left one. It's gonna go here. I'm hoping it fits. So let's do this. Let's pull these out, set them to the side because I think I have something we'll be using these on. And if not, I'll be selling them, but you can see the gap up top. And so this little ridge or ring kind of helps hide some of that, I believe. These say they fit the 3500. We're gonna see, guys. So I'm gonna go grab, this is probably, yeah, a Phillips. Let's get these out, and I may kind of route the taillight harness down in there as we go. And yeah, so I think I've got some bulbs too. I'd like to replace those bulbs. A couple of those are broken. We'll try to do that at the same time. Now I've got the harness. I don't have it pinned down. You know, we'll go back under the truck here in a minute, but I kind of wiped this down. So guys, I'm just putting standard long life 3157 halogens in here, but I am going to use a little dielectric grease on them. And plugging those in. They're all 3157s, or at least they should be. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Oh no, there we go. Okay, and we're just gonna put all new bulbs in, and then we'll see how good this fits in this housing. You know, these aftermarket lights sometimes aren't the greatest fitting. I generally like to stay with a certain brand. You guys notice those are Eagle Eyes. TYC, which I generally use, they say they don't make one for a 3500. Some people say the regular lights fit, but you guys saw just a second ago that they don't fit that well. I did order some LEDs for the bottom. they did not come in. So for now, we're just gonna use these, kind of route these like this. I actually may go behind that brace if I can. Yeah, like that. The bottom one, the one with the green on it, is going to be your reverse light. Should be at the bottom. All right, so this should be what we need. Now let's grab this light, see if these things will twist in there. I noticed that one of the foam pieces is missing. I'm gonna have to get one of those as well on the reverse light. These little pieces of foam that kind of keep debris and water out of these things. So I'm hoping, guys, that it please work. I'm not sure that threading them through like I did was a great idea. Okay. These things are fighters. Yeah, that reverse light, it does not like it without that little foam piece. So while we're gonna put it in for now, we're gonna have to get that. Oh, wow. These fit so much better. This is like night and day. What a huge difference. Oh, I'll pull the camera over here in a second. I'm gonna go ahead and get the screws started in here, but then I'll show you guys how much better the fitment is top to bottom here. All right, let's look back to back. We're gonna have to get that foam piece. This is gonna come back out. We'll probably put an LED, but look, see the gap at the top and along the side, how much closer that is? Now I left this other one in, check it out. See how big that gap is? Look at that, my finger can get in there. All the way around, look at that. So there's definitely a difference between a 3/4 ton tail light, and I really, guys, I actually think it's the same tail light, but this one has this outer little shell on it. So it's in there. I'm gonna go ahead and knock the other one out off camera, and then we'll get underneath and see, because I've got some LEDs, as you can see right here, to put, actually I wanna keep that, to put in the side marker lights. So I'm not a big LED in the rear tail light, guys, just because a lot of times you have some issues with cruise control. Sometimes there's some other problems, and we'll do LEDs up front at some point, but on the sides, that's not gonna hurt anything. So we're gonna put some LEDs in this, but we'll show you that here in just a minute. Let me get this other tail light knocked out. Now, look, one of the things I noticed on these lights, these are just standard like 194s, and that's where I got the LEDs, but my front one's really faded. Get this out of here. Well, I have to go in from the other side here. That is in there. There we go. All right, so I actually got the harness. There's a harness here on this one, and so what I think I'll do is we'll just put it under here, take this old 194 bulb out, and plug the new one in and put it back into place. And I'm gonna do that all the way around, and I'm just using these last fits. Hopefully, I don't think they're polarity sensitive, so what I may do is I may leave them out until we get this all done, and then we'll go back and tie everything up. But see if we can get them in here. These are like the short ones, and they're supposed to be like error free, so they shouldn't have a polarity setting. Shouldn't have to flip them around, but we'll give it a shot. And like I said, I got two harnesses. There's one that came with the truck. These things are snug. So they look I'll tell you what, we'll show you this one. They look like this. This little piece here is what I'm taking the bulb out of and pressing the new one in. So I'm gonna do that in the front one. That's the light that's kind of faded. And then we'll get this guy into place. It kind of ties up against the bed so we don't have any issues keeping you know, the wire out of the tires and whatnot. So hopefully you guys can kind of see what's going on here. So we've got that big long piece of plastic. This goes up to the front. This is your lead light on the front fender. And then it actually, I'm missing a section here, but there's push pins that keep it like right here up against the bottom side of the inner fender. And so that keeps it in place. So I'm gonna have to go find me a couple Christmas tree clips. We'll get under there and look at the routing to the front light and the back light. There's a couple clips that are actually still on this bed holding it to the box. But yeah, I've got to go find me, I call them Christmas tree clips because they kind of look like little Christmas trees. You can see there's one still left in this. And actually this one, I replaced this side because it looked kind of gross. But yeah, these clip up against this and keep this in place, and like I said, out of the tire. Let's take a look at what we got now. So you can see the plug and how it clips to the side of the bed right there to go to the front one. Goes into that thing we just installed, and you can see the little Christmas tree harnesses. Guys, see how it's got the ones in the middle? This is actually the way it's supposed to be set up. They're identical, so they fit either side. These little rails that hold the wire. That's why they have those extra pieces on them. So that is up into place. Now going to the back, similar situation. You can see the plug right there with the cap, or the Christmas tree plug to keep the light harness in place. And then we just ran it. There's a couple clips that clip to the frame rail right there. And now we've got it routed over the back side of the frame. Well, actually that's part of the bed and kind of into the middle here. So I'm gonna go knock the other side out doing the exact same thing. I did go ahead and put the lights in there. We'll just have to take them out if they don't work. I don't think that'll be a problem, but we'll give it a shot anyway. So now all we have to do after we get the other side done is we kind of just need to route this harness up. On the dually beds, they have this like kind of third brake light type deal back here. So we'll get that hooked up. That's what one of these plugs is for. And then guys, I don't know. I think we'll probably try to test them at that point. We now have all the lights working. So you can see we've got our side markers working. Like I said, they're kind of faded. We may have to replace those. Tail lights are looking good. Got the other side. So guys, when I plugged this in originally, first of all, in order to get power to these side marker lights, the ones on the bed, you have to have the bumper harness. And so I had that over there, and I went ahead and hooked it up. You can see one of the license plate lights. The other one's actually not there. But yeah, that's what's going on there. So the brown connector, which is the one on the very far right, it actually has two connections on it, aside from the, you know, the license plate lights. It has two connections, one that goes to the right, one that goes to the left, in order to power your side marker lights. Now, when I plug this in, it's not a direct swap. There's actually not a pin in the very bottom right of that brown connector to power the lights on the right-hand side. So what I did was I just spliced in to the ones for the left, because there's no signals in those. They're literally just marker lights. So when you have the headlights on, which is what I've got on right now, you're gonna see all those lights come on. And they're LEDs, so it's not gonna overpower that circuit. We're not gonna have any problems there. You also notice that there's like there's a marker light down underneath, like the tailgate, between the tailgate and the bumper. It's broken, and so I'm gonna have to get a replacement one of those. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but yeah, there's a light that's missing, and it's been flickering. So I think we're gonna have to get a replacement for that. But guys, let's pull this thing outside, take a look at what we have got accomplished, because it's definitely looking better already. So I got this thing pulled outside because, guys, I think this is where we're gonna end this video, but we did get a lot accomplished, at least to make it look a little bit better. Of course, we got all the trim off the side. Cohen actually clay barred the hood while just last night, actually. So the hood's clay barred. We did some clay barring on the side after we got the trim off, and the belt molding, what they call it. And I think that looks a lot better. Of course, we got the running boards off. They were kind of crusty, and it'll give me the ability to clean the bottom of it. I know I told you guys I was going to wash this thing, but I just haven't had time to do it. So and I'll do that off camera. But either way, we got some of the stuff off the side. Of course, we got the new tail lights in the back. Things look a lot better. They actually fit. And so where do we go from here? You know, we've got a lot to go. Oh, we got the side lights hooked up too, and the wiring harness and whatnot with the tail light. So, but anyway, we got a lot to go, but I think it's going to be a pretty cool little project. We're not in a hurry, and so we're just going to take our time, and I think we're going to make this thing pretty nice. My goal here, guys, is to go ahead and get wheels and tires on, and probably do that before we start a drop. Haven't really figured out what we're going to do as far as drop goes. I know we're going to lower it, but I don't know exactly how much or what components we're going to use as of yet, but we are for sure going to get low with it. But I would like to get the bumper on, and then maybe the next video, or maybe move to some interior cleaning. I've got some parts on the way for different kind of pieces, and so on. So we'll just see how it goes. But if you guys are enjoying this truck, which I think several of you guys are going to, go down there and hit that thumbs up button, guys. If you are not subscribed, go down there, hit that subscribe button. Of course, like always, ring that bell notification. That notifies you every single time we drop a new video. And well, stay tuned to see what we work on next.